India has just banned, by official order, all trade with Pakistan. Add to that the already in place restrictions since the deadly Pahalgam terror attacks, suspending of visas, closing of airspace, and even putting in abeyance the Indus Water Treaty. It is war by any other name, and while the big question remains, when will the actual action happen and in what shape and form, it is also pertinent to look at the actual status of India-Pakistan trade, as also how trade has emerged as a not so new tool of war and strategy in cabinet war rooms. The government has cited national security and public policy as the reason for the stern trade restrictions. Economic sanctions has been a time-tested policy of the glory days of the UN, even if their effectiveness has varied. Perhaps the best example would be the UN Security Council ratified sanctions on Iraq following its Kuwait invasion in 1990. While that, followed by the action by Allied forces, brought Iraq to its knees, the impact of sanctions on other battleground states like Iran, Libya, and even Yemen recently has been more complex. Of course, in recent years, we have seen how NATO countries have pulled out their businesses from Russia following its invasion of Ukraine, right from McDonald's, Netflix, and oil and gas deals. Of course, it's another matter that Russia has shrugged it all off and just replaced it all with either local substitutes or, like in the case of oil and gas, continued the trade coolly through third-party countries like India. Now, the main difference here is that in India and Pakistan's case, these are directly bilateral. And the question is, how much of an impact will it actually have? Back in 2019, after Pulwama, India revoked the most favored nation status given to Pakistan, and trade has anyway been low since then. As per last year's figures, it's less than $500 million, with the balance heavily tilted in India's favor. In fact, this ban, coupled with the ban of all shipping and air transport, will bite Pakistan at least in certain specific areas, like medicines, for example. A sizable chunk of good quality, affordable drugs that Pakistanis use come from India's pharma sector. Now, beyond that, it will pinch Indian companies, like the aforementioned medicines manufacturers, when a good source of business dries up suddenly like this. Other major Indian exports to Pakistan include plastics, chemicals, rubber, coffee, tea, spices, and dairy products. However, many believe that the actual trade between the two rivals could be as high as $10 billion, happening through third-party trade hubs like Dubai, Singapore, and Colombo. It is not clear whether India is aiming to plug this hole and even how it will do so. The latest government order does not really speak about this at all, the focus remaining on goods originating or exporting from Pakistan.